Hey guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here. Today, I want to talk about everything wrong with Resurrection of F. Now, Resurrection of F, the movie, it's been out for quite a while, but like I said in my Broly review video, I'm new to YouTube. I just started literally, literally actually this year. So I'm new to YouTube, and I never gotten the chance to actually go in depth and talk about Resurrection of F and my problems with it and what I didn't like. Because I think that the decline of Dragon Ball and its writing, and especially the power scaling, did start off in Resurrection of F. After that, everything started just going downhill. So a lot of people, I feel like, blame Dragon Ball Super, which I understand and I get it, but I feel like they forget that Resurrection of F was the catalyst for all this bad writing. Because everything you have a problem with, any problems you guys might have with Dragon Ball Super, just know it was prevalent all the way back in Resurrection of F. And that's the reason why I kind of had little to no hope for Dragon Ball Super, because after what happened with Resurrection of F, I knew that they were going to be crossing over some of the crap that they put in. So I already knew that. But yeah, when the first movie was announced, I was actually excited because Battle of Gods was amazing. I loved it. I considered my favorite Dragon Ball film of all time, still to this day. But it was when Battle Gods came out, it was very revolutionary. It changed the game for Dragon Ball very well. Not only did it bring it back, but it brought it back in a great way. It made it amazing. They were giving us new ideas with different universes, these gods of destruction, hierarchy of the gods. Then we have Whis, whatever he was at that time. We were trying to find out what he is. How is he so powerful? Why is he just doing all this stuff for beers? So we were getting all this stuff, and it was amazing because the direction it was going was new and unique, and it felt like there's so many possibilities. I was super optimistic when it first ended, and then they said there was going to be another movie coming out. But then when I heard what the movie was about, I kind of was angry and disappointed because I was like, great, they were going forward in the future, but now they went back like a couple of steps, and I was just like, I don't like the idea of bringing back old characters that died a long time ago and now making them threat again. I've never really liked that. Bring back old characters unless they did a way where like the old character, like the character was able to survive and train and formulate a plan to come back to be a bigger threat. That I'm fine with. But if they died and they just come back and simply just train and come back stronger, I find it kind of that BS. So there was quite a. I already right off from the jump. I already had problems with Resurrection of F, but it's not just even the concept itself. There's many things wrong with it, and that's why I'm making this video. So let's get to the beginning of the movie itself. We're shown hell where Frieza is being tortured, and it's basically just a parade of fairies and little stuffed teddy bears and stuffed animals playing drums. And he's in his cyborg form, and he's reminiscing about how he got killed by, how he lost to Goku and got killed by Trunks, and how he's pissed and stuff. And this already doesn't make any sense, and it's definitely a retcon because last time I checked, when we were given the explanation on how the afterlife worked, it was basically when you die and you go to Yama's check-in station, you're determined. You basically turn into a spirit, and if you're evil, you get sent to hell. You basically get sent to hell as a formless spirit who doesn't have a body, but and also doesn't have recollections of their past. So basically, uh, what they're saying is when you die and if you're sent to hell, specifically, you basically not only not have a body, but you also would not have recollection of who you were in the past. So technically, Frieza should not be having a physical form there, nor should he have any recollection of what happened to reminisce or get angry over. So that was already right off the jump incorrect. Another thing that I felt like it was a problem for me was last time I checked, he should have been already reincarnated and to another person. Why is he still in hell? Because if he's reincarnated, there's no way they can revive him. Obviously, they couldn't let that happen. But when you're looking at it like a consistency aspect or just logically, he should have been revived and been reincarnated to a good person by now. Especially since he's been dead for years. He's literally one of the first villains that died in Dragon Ball Z. So he died a long time ago. Yet he isn't back. And I know a lot of you guys can say, well, maybe the process takes some time because the way hell works is not only are you sent there as a formless, spirit, you're basically tortured for a bit, then you're cleansed, and then you're reincarnated into a new being. but Frieza just seems like he's still being tormented, and he doesn't seem to have gotten like cleansed at all. And I know a lot of you guys will say, well, maybe it takes a little bit longer, but remember, Oob was a reincarnation of Kid Buu, and Kid Buu died way later on, and he was way more evil than Frieza. So trying to dispel all the evil from him would have been a lot harder and took been a lot longer of a process, shouldn't it? And I know a lot of you guys will say, well, didn't Goku wish for Kid Buu to be reincarnated? But why would he wish for him to be reincarnated? Of that already naturally happens. What's the point of wasting a wish on something like that? Also, he never stated that he wished for him to be back. He said, "I wish you would be good." So I think I don't remember if Goku did make a wish, but I'm pretty sure his wish was not to reincarnate, Boobies. That was going to already happen. I think his wish was for him to be reincarnated as a human. So when he does get reincarnated, it's not just some random alien off world or somewhere else, but a human on Earth that Goku can at least interact with. So, yeah, he should. That wish also shouldn't be shouldn't change that, because they were really gonna get he was gonna get already reincarnated. It was just who specifically he was gonna get reincarnated to. So by that statement, Frieza should be reincarnated by now, and there should be no way for him to get revived. The only reason this is happening is because Toriyama wants it to happen, because for nostalgia purposes, and also it's easier to write a character who's already been written before. Just bring them back and give them, because if you bring them back, you don't really need to write down a backstory for them. You don't really need to change anything about them. The revenge, the story itself is very like blatantly obvious what they're trying to do. It's a revenge story, so it's obvious of that. The only thing they will have to do is how they're gonna make him more powerful. So that also I think was dumb, and the fact that he keeps on stating that Earth's hell, which makes no sense to me, is like, so does every planet, or at least every planet with like life forms on it, do they have their own hell? That just sounds weird. Why can't he just be in hell in general? I just don't like that. So they had that. Then they skip over to his henchmen trying to, because their numbers are dwindling, and they're trying to revive him so they can strengthen the army again. But it makes no sense to me. It's like, how are they still around? It's been over a decade since Frieza's been dead. I mean, not only did Frieza die, but his dad died. Zarbon and Dodoria died. The Ginyu Force died. Countless other like Frieza soldiers on Namek died. And then when Frieza came to Earth, didn't he state that all the people the soldiers that he's bringing are the last of all of his soldiers that he has left? So how did he bring all the soldiers he has left onto Earth, and they all died and he died, and now there's still them in space? I feel like Toriyama just wrote them to be like, well, who else is going to revive Frieza? It's not like he can do it himself, so he needs somebody else to revive him. But I highly doubt he remembered that he wrote them all dying off. But that is an inconsistency in the writing. They should not be there. And even if we just give him leeway and say, yeah, maybe there's some few out there that he just didn't know. Here's the thing: how the hell have the Galactic Patrol not taken them down? They said that they weren't taking him down because of Frieza, but now Frieza's been out of power for over a decade, and his dad and all these other very his top guys. How the hell could they not take them down? Most of them are just like runts. Like, it still takes you this long. No wonder the Galactic Patrol is trash. It's either they're complete trash, or this is just BS to give Frieza to revive. And then when we have the resurrection of Frieza, before we get into that, I want to talk about them coming to Earth and how the Z fighters and Piccolo didn't do anything. They knew the ship came there. They didn't even try. Some people might say, well, they were probably since they were holding back, but they did see the ship and they didn't even try to intervene or do anything. Especially Piccolo, he saw it directly. And yes, I know he was taking care of Pan, but let's be honest. With Piccolo's speed and power, he could have easily gone there, obliterated them, destroyed their ship, and then came back and attended to Pan. It's not like Gohan or anybody else was there. He was just there by himself. And it's not like anything was going to happen to the kid. With his speed, like I said, it will take like less than a second to do all that and come back. So I don't know why he didn't do that, or even at least the rest of the Z fighters, because I highly doubt they had anything really important to do. And it's funny because a lot of people are always complaining, why don't they give the Z fighters this and that? But then they have them be useless like this, and nobody has a problem with it. I explained in my Dragon Ball Super Broly review how I talked about this and how they're useless, because when they did this again in that movie and Goku and Vegeta were on Earth, Goku and Vegeta, jumped on it at that moment, even though the guys that were trying to steal it were they had low power, so they can barely be sensed. Goku and Vegeta didn't care. They found them and they tried to stop them. And in that movie, they're using the Dragon Balls for something far less nefarious. They're only using it for Frieza to be taller. This one they're using to revive him. So it was like the threat was bigger back then, and the Z Fighters could have done something, but they didn't. Now we have not even a threat, and Goku and Vegeta are on that right away. So it's like it just shows you how useless they are of Goku and Vegeta or jumping on it right away. So yeah, I don't know why people complain about that so much about them. And then they had the process where they're trying to revive Frieza, and they're talking about yes, revive Frieza. But here's the thing: once again, they should not be able to revive Frieza. I think a lot of people forget that the Dragon Balls have a specific rule, and that is you cannot revive somebody who's been dead for over a year. That's why the Dragon Balls, come back within a year because they have that time limit. You can actually search up online about this, or even just watch Dragon Ball. If you listen carefully, they mentioned the fact that you can't revive somebody who's been dead for more than a year. That's why when they revived everybody that was killed by Frieza and his men on in the Frieza saga, that's why the Saiyans didn't get revived, or the people they killed, or anybody that Frieza killed in the past. They all stay dead. The Saiyans stay dead. The only people that were revived were at that time that were the Namekians because they were freshly killed, and maybe some other races within that year. But the Saiyans weren't revived for a simple reason because it was past a year. So technically, by Toriyama's own writing, Frieza once again should not be existing in this world. Those other stuff also made sense. It didn't make sense why he would know all this stuff. But yeah, he shouldn't have been able to come back anyway. So we already have that. Then they brought him back to the ship. They're reviving him, healing him up. They tell him he beat Majin Buu, and Majin Buu is like a big threat. And he's like, I'm not worried. My father told me to avoid both him and Beerus, but I can obtain this new form within 4 months of training, and it'll surpass that. Now, I had a big problem with this for many reasons. For one, how the hell does he know how powerful Buu? First of all, how does him and his dad know who Majin Buu is, but Beerus doesn't? Beerus is the god of destruction. He's been here for far longer, gone to countless planets, and did all this stuff, but he doesn't even know who Majin Buu is, but these guys do. And then also, it's like, how do you know how strong Majin Buu would be, Frieza? Because Frieza's just assuming that that isn't anything to him when if he obtains this power. What if Buu is so ridiculously powerful, like his dad said, that when Goku beat him, that his power was so much above him that even if he did train and came back, Goku would beat him. Obviously, that wasn't the case, but that was because Toriyama was just trying to shoehorn this in. But it's like, how would you know that? You're betting on a gamble that you don't know about somebody at all. That was just dumb. Also, them saying that, it should have been, it should have meant something. Him beating Majin Buu should have meant something. But at this point, they just didn't care how dumb it sounds. The fact that we can have Frieza come back in 24 months and surpass Majin Buu is a threat. That's just ridiculous to me. But yeah, they had that. Also, the fact that he knew that he had his transformation. I have to ask two questions. One, how the hell does he know he has this? Like, he knew specifically not only how long it would take to obtain this form, but he also has a form and how powerful that form is. He knew all this stuff. How? Since when? Like, at least his other forms, it was because his final form was his real state, and those other ones were like forms that he like transformed to lower his power. But this one, it's an actual transformation for him. He did not. How would he know this? And also, how would like if he did know this, then why didn't he do this all the way back then? He was talking about, oh, I'm afraid of the Saiyans and I have to wipe out their whole planet. You could have simply trained for a bit and got so strong that even if they were Super Saiyans, they couldn't do anything. I mean, yeah, Goku as a Super Saiyan alone was beating you, but if you had this much power and if you trained, Goku wouldn't have been able to touch you. Even if you went Super Saiyan, you would have been able to obliterate him in your first form. So it's just like, it's asinine to me to think that he had all this power. Somehow he knew he had this power and how to obtain it, but also that he never tried it for whatever reason. And the excuse people make is he's lazy. This guy runs an entire galactic business where he tries to control the entire universe. I'm pretty sure he's not that damn lazy. I mean, hell, he went to Planet Namek all by together with his men. So he's also once again not that lazy. This is just a cop out to be like, you know what? Let's just give him this BS power. Because if Frieza was to, somehow attain this and train to obtain this form and just newly found it, that would be like take him longer. But the fact that he just simply knows it is more convenient for Toriyama. But it makes no sense. Like, how the hell does he know it? How does he know how powerful it is? And on top of that, it's like, ooh, why didn't he just simply do it back then? Instead of just wiping out, like, the Saints, who are very vital soldiers, he could have just got so much stronger that they couldn't stand up to him. It's just dumb for me that he would act that stupid. Also, it kind of ruins the whole Goku versus Frieza fight in the Frieza saga, because now when I see Goku going Super Saiyan, I'm not like, oh my god, Goku showed Frieza this and that. I'm just like, wow, man, if Frieza trained, Goku would have been completely screwed. This completely makes Goku look pathetic. Like, all Frieza had to do was train a bit, and Super Saiyan would have meant shit. Hell, him in Cell Saga wouldn't have meant anything. Him in the Buu Saga wouldn't have meant anything. Him in the Battle of Gods arc wouldn't have meant anything. So it just disappoints me that they did that, because now they're making that whole Super Saiyan moment very pointless, because like, if Frieza was just not a lazy dumbass, he could have easily obliterated him, and then there wouldn't have been that many more. So there was that. But my bigger gripe and my biggest gripe with this movie is definitely his, the level of power he was able to get. I think has to be one of the biggest ass pulls and power creeps in all of Dragon Ball. A lot of people try to defend this by saying, well, he got that powerful because, he never trained a day in his life. That's why he got that powerful. First of all, that is just not true. In all the way back in the Frieza saga, when Goku kicked him through 2 mountains, he stood up. He's like, I haven't felt damage like this since I sparred with my dad. So basically, he has fought with his dad before, and his dad has damaged him, and this would be considered in his final form, since he said, I haven't been this much hurt this much. So he's sparred with his dad, a being who's stronger than him, and he's done it in a high form. And guess what? He didn't get any significant power boost. You're telling me that him training with his men for 4 months is enough to get him this ridiculously powerful, but him sparring with his dad, which is the highest form of training you can do, he didn't get any power boost? That's BS. He has trained before, and even if he hasn't, I'm not accepting that. There still should be a certain limit. I mean, people are just saying, well, as long as they give us a reason, an excuse, then I'm fine with it. No, I'm not. They give us a one-note reasoning. It's different between giving us an in-depth explanation and going in depth with it, and giving people what's the thing called, a one-note excuse. This was not an explanation; it was an excuse. It was just so Toriyama could have Frieza back and have him be a threat, and have all these bring nostalgia and all the Frieza fans over to be like, oh, I love this. So he was basically using us for like fan service, and it's just like, to me, it's like, it was a cheap way to get money and get attention and draw access to seats. So no, this does not make sense. It should be. I get it if you want to make it more powerful, but it should still be to a certain limit. You're telling me that it should still surpass Super Saiyan God and their new form that they just unlocked in this movie, Super Saiyan Blue. I just think that that's ridiculous. It should still have a limit. It should not. Even if Frieza did train, he should not get stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Like, I get if he gets some amount of power, but there should still be a limit to it. And the fact that you guys are saying just because he trained that means he should have no limit. So what if like they did this later on? Let's say they did this when Goku obtained Master Ultra Instinct, and they just revived Frieza. All they have to say is he never trained a day in his life, and you guys would accept it? No, it's just dumb writing. And it's funny to me because when One Punch Man came out, they had the whole scene with how Saitama got his power, and they're like, he did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and ran 10 kilometers each day, and that's how he got this ridiculously powerful. It was basically to a spoof and to joke on anime tropes where they have a character getting ridiculously powerful with just a bit of training, and that was just to be over the top and be a parody of that, and not to be taken too serious. And it's ironic that the same people that would look at that and laugh and think that's ridiculous are the same people who defend Frieza getting a BS power up, even though Frieza's power up is in a show that's supposed to be taking it serious, and it was to a higher extent. Frieza going from that level to what he is now, within what the training that he took, especially what they shown in the anime, because the anime they made it even worse. He just beat up on Tagoma like as a punching bag. How the hell does that make you stronger? In this one, they left it like they didn't say it which was, I guess, a better choice, but still, it was dumb anyway that him training with his people for 4 months and his base was more than enough to give him, such a significant power boost anyway. But it's like, people can't be like laughing at what happens in One Punch Man, like, oh, that's such a funny parody, that's over the top, and then see it happen in Dragon Ball to an even more ridiculous extent, and then be like, yeah, that makes sense. It's a parody at this point. That was a parody. It's in itself. The fact that he was able to get that strong, so I don't like that. I mean, also if you just think about like the level of powers that he would go up, that means within 4 months of training and one transformation, he was able to surpass Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, God, and then the new one, Blue. And that was going up, all the multipliers from the Super Saiyan transformations, all the Zenkai boosts, all the times they fought different beings, and especially the fact that, in Battle of Gods and stuff, they absorbed the God Key to their base, and especially at this point, their God Key should be completely in their base, basically meaning their base should be equal to Super Saiyan God, meaning that Frieza not only surpassed all those forms of Goku, but he surpassed a Goku that was already at base God level, times that with all the other Super Saiyan transformations, and he was able to do that within 4 months of one transformation. I'm sorry, but I just can't buy that. That's too ridiculous. By that logic, that means that anybody, if they never trained before, if they just have any sort of decent power, can simply train for a bit and should be able to compete with these guys. And that's what I mean by this was the downfall, and you can see it in Super because, you know, Frieza, Frieza surpassing it by just training and simply them saying he's a prodigy and this and that. This is the same excuse they use countless times when they use it for Android 17, when they use it for Trunks, when they use this for Kale and Kefla, and they use this for their fusion Caulifla, when they use this for Broly. They use this countless times because Frieza was the catalyst for this lazy type of writing of, bring these characters that shouldn't be this powerful, but get ridiculous amount of power because of either Deus Ex Machina or just them training. That is just lazy. So I didn't like that. But like let's go on to like later once when they're like arriving to the planet and coming. The training with Whis and so let's start first with Goku and Vegeta training with Whis. Now he's training them. He's just dodging their attacks, and he writes these symbols onto their shirts, and then he starts giving them the whole speech about their weaknesses, and he tells Vegeta that he overthinks things too much, and that leads to his downfall. Basically, their both of their weaknesses are the same. It's just the way they get to it is different. Vegeta's is, by Whis' definition, he overthinks things too much, and that's when he gets caught off guard. Whereas Goku's too cocky and lets his guard down, and that's when he gets caught off guard. Now, I already made a video about the whole them dropping their guard thing, and also I know it happens later on in this movie with him Goku getting taken down by the laser. But I already covered this and thoroughly and very well in my durability video, where you see Goku getting shot in the back. You guys should go check that one out. That one's a really good video. I basically talk about the character's durability, especially when their guard is dropped. But yeah, he's telling them their guard is dropped, and that's the biggest problem. A couple of problems with this. First of all, he said Vegeta's biggest weakness is his, the fact that he overthinks things. I don't think that's the case. Vegeta's not an idiot, but the problem with Vegeta is he doesn't overthink things. A lot of times he doesn't think things through. We saw what he did all the way back in, the Cell Saga and the Buu Saga. That guy was not thinking things through. Cell Saga, he unleashed a perfect Cell, and then he had to face the consequences. And in the Buu Saga, he was being too stubborn and saying, "Hell no, I'm not gonna stop this fight with Kakarot and work together with him to take down Majin Buu." And when he was willing to let the Majin what's the thing, Bobby take control of him for a bit to get the power, but then he changed anyway. So yeah, Vegeta doesn't overthink things. If anything, Vegeta is the cocky one. Of anybody's biggest weakness is being arrogant, is Vegeta, not Goku. Like I explained, Goku hasn't really shown to be cocky. The only time they really shown being cocky was in Battle of Gods, and that was very off-putting to say for like most people anyway. But yeah, Vegeta's shown countless times where he's been cocky. How the hell are you gonna say Goku's the cocky one when Vegeta's the definite cocky one? And that's his big problem. Him thinking things too much, that's never been shown. And Goku being cocky is never his problem. His problem is he's naive, and he a lot of times assumes that his opponents are willing to have a fair fight. Where in reality, they don't care about a fair fight or not a fair fight. They just want to win. So that's his weakness. And them dropping their guard down, like I said in that video too, they, even though they have dropped their guard down before in Dragon Ball Z, it wasn't that much and it wasn't very emphasized. So this is just over exaggeration. Also, this is supposed to be a lazy foreshadowing for what's going to happen in events, and also with the whole Whis rewinding time thing. I just felt like that's lazy writing. It's not creative. Like making obvious foreshadowing for what's going to happen at the end of the movie is just you being like, "Oh, hey, wink, wink, this is going to happen." It's like, okay, thanks for just ruining the ending and basically giving us a spoiler in the beginning of the movie. But they had that, you know, the training itself, I don't have really much of a problem with. Then we had like Frieza and his men coming to Earth, and now they're starting to terrorize the Earth. And once again, Frieza says he brought all of his Frieza Force members, and I'll explain to you towards the end why that is complete BS. That actually I can explain right now. He says that he brought all of his like the people of the Frieza Force, but then in the same movie he wipes them all out. They're all dead. Every Frieza Force member is dead, right? But then we have Dragon Ball Super Broly, and it begins with him once again getting revived back, and he has an entire army with him. And in the Broly movie, he basically has henchmen that have worked for him for years. So how the hell are you going to keep on saying that these are all of his people and they die, and then keep on bringing back more new people? This is just getting, oh, it was just stupid at this point. So yeah, he said he brought back everybody. He brought everybody from his force to Earth. He destroys the city. Apparently, that's supposed to be impressive. Nappa could do that all the way back then. Then the Z fighters come, and Yamcha and Chaozu apparently don't come with them because they say it's too dangerous for them. Even though they're just fighting against Frieza's henchmen, who are at most stronger than Raditz level, but these guys, all of them, should be far past that. And it's funny that they say these two characters can't handle it, but then they bring Master Roshi, a character who's been surpassed all the way back in Dragon Ball, and a character who can't even fly. How the hell is he more useful than these two guys? Like, yeah, I get Yamcha and Tatsu are not that strong, but compared to Master Roshi, they should be way stronger. Unlike Master Roshi, they were at least constantly training. Yamcha might have stopped in Z, but he stopped towards the end. Whereas Master Roshi didn't even, he stopped training early, way before even Dragon Ball started. He didn't train throughout all the Z, and now magically he's, capable to handle this threat. Also, last time I checked, wasn't he weaker than Raditz? And these guys are even the average, Frieza Force member is stronger than Raditz. So him being able to fight them or handle them means that he was able to now get stronger than that. That makes no sense. A lot of people made excuses for this, simply saying that, well, it does make sense. He trained off screen. He's this. First of all, they never said he trained, and even if they did, I wouldn't buy it. It makes no sense. This guy didn't train throughout all Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z because he was like, oh, it's about the future, and they passed me this, and now he's going back to training. What for? Why didn't you train through Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, especially in Dragon Ball, when at that time, the powers are so much smaller that he could at least been something, but now they're so ridiculously high, it's pointless for him to train. It's like, why would he train now out of all the times? And the fact that he got so ridiculously powerful that he was able to take out, dozens of Frieza soldiers with one Kamehameha, and they would be, on average, greater than, Raditz, who was stronger than him. So how did he get that powerful too in that short amount of time? Also, let's talk about Gohan and his power decrease and why is this BS. Now, I get it. Last time, I get it how, they were explaining this all the way back in the Blue Saga that if a Saiyan doesn't train, or if the Dragon Ball characters don't train, they get weaker. But still, even if they do get weaker, it does take quite a bit of time for them to get weaker. And the amount of power they would lose would also not be as extreme. And when you compare what happened with Gohan now and what happened with Gohan back then, it doesn't make any sense. So what do I mean by that? Well, Gohan in the Buu saga, he hadn't trained for 7 years straight. He went from Super Saiyan, having Super Saiyan 2 as his highest form, and being above cell level, to now still being able to go Super Saiyan 2 after 7 years of not training, and only half of his power that he had back then. But still, he only lost half of power with 7 years of not training, and he could still go at least Super Saiyan 2. Now we have Gohan, at most maybe a year has passed since the Buu saga, and guess what? Not only can this guy not go in his mystic form, he cannot go Super Saiyan 2. He doesn't even know if he can go Super Saiyan 1. And he is obviously far weaker than, he lost far more than half of his power within a year. So how are you going to tell me a weaker version of him with a lower amount of power and a lot longer of not training, lost less amount of power and can still go Super Saiyan 2? But this character who's, just trained for only a year, hasn't trained for a year, has not only lost his Mystic form, but his Super Saiyan 2 form, and can barely know if he can go Super Saiyan 1, and lost considerably way more than half of his power. That just shows inconsistency. I get it if you want to make Gohan a little bit weaker, but he shouldn't be this much weaker, seeing as how, comparing it to, Z version of him, he didn't get that much weaker. So they had that. Also, they had him just getting, like, they just made him look like trash. Also, the power scaling didn't make sense because now a lot of people are assuming that, well, does this mean that Piccolo is stronger than him? And he should have been. But then we see later on Piccolo is struggling, getting beat, and then Gohan as Super Saiyan has to come and save him, which is like, I don't know. I feel like Piccolo should be stronger than Gohan if he's not training, especially in Dragon Ball Super when he trains him again to get his mystic form. That just shows that Piccolo was above him. So it makes no sense to me that, the power scaling in that regard, that you're going to make him that weak, and theoretically Piccolo should be stronger than him, but then also be like, nah, Gohan's still stronger than him. It makes no sense. So that whole battle scene was kind of weird. Then they had the whole chase throughout like the valley and stuff, and Krillin's not trying to kill him. I don't get that. Why Krillin's not trying to kill the Frieza soldiers? Last time I checked, these guys don't care about these guys. Why are they holding back? Like, since when did Krillin or the Z fighters care? I know they're not like, they're not like bloodthirsty like vigilantes and stuff like the Punisher or whatever. But these guys are not like Boy Scout heroes like Superman or Batman. They've never shown to have a concern with killing. They never concerned with killing before, or especially like killing Cell and stuff. And especially since Krillin and Gohan killed two of Frieza's soldiers all the way back on Namek, when they like spotted them, they both attacked two of these guys and basically killed them. Now he's trying to avoid, taking them out, and Piccolo and everybody. It just makes no sense to me. They could have easily just killed him. I think it was just to stretch it on longer to have them have that big battle. Also, I don't really like that. A lot of people are like, this is great, they're giving them something. But to me, it's just like, they're not really giving them something. It's just basically giving them this to make the fans shut up. Because the fans for years were complaining about how the Z fighters are, they don't have anything to do. They've been pushed aside. They're just nothing side characters. But now they give them just like hordes of faceless and no named Frieza's henchmen, who at this point the Dragon Ball characters should not be even at all caring about, because let's be honest, these guys are only stronger than Raditz. At this point, these guys should have been stronger than Frieza all the way back in the Frieza saga. So fighting against Frieza's weak ass henchmen should not mean anything to these guys. Let's be honest, like, and that's why I never cared about the scene. A lot of people are like, this is great. For me, it's like, are you kidding? They're fighting against a bunch of weak ass like low class henchmen. Who gives a crap if they can beat them or doing this? Just because they're doing something doesn't mean that it's cool or matters. I mean, I feel like at this point the Dragon Ball fans are so desperate that no matter what they give us, no matter how lame or lazy it is, the fans are just willing to accept it. Like, oh, just give us at least something. It's funny because when you look at Marvel and you see, the other weaker Avengers fight against, hordes of nameless, like, soldiers or armies, like all the way back in Avengers 1 and 2, people, the what's the thing called? The Avengers fans complained about it, saying, why do they keep on making the side characters fight these weak ass dudes, these no name, no face guys? Because they felt like that was just pathetic. There was no point. Why are they doing that? That's why in Infinity War they got these other characters for them to fight. Now, when it comes to Dragon Ball, they do the same thing, and apparently the Dragon Ball fans love it. It just shows you the difference between, Marvel fans and Dragon Ball fans. Dragon Ball fans are willing to accept any crap, no matter how little it is, whereas Marvel fans still have some level of standards. Apparently, we don't have any standards. We will accept any crap. So I didn't find this entertaining. This fight was actually kind of pretty lame. All these stuff, them holding back, didn't really make sense to me, and them fighting a bunch of hordes of weak henchmen didn't really mean much to me either. Then we get to the whole one of the Frieza's henchmen, the red guy. he starts bodying Piccolo, and it's like, what the hell? You're telling me this guy who they stated early on was like what, Zarbon level, has now trained with Frieza for only 4 months and has gotten so powerful that he went from Zarbon level to being able to handle, post Dragon Ball Z Piccolo. Get the hell out of here. Piccolo at this point should be at least equivalent to Perfect Cell. Maybe not Super Perfect Cell, but at least Perfect Cell. So you're telling me a character that's on Perfect Cell level is getting beaten up by a Frieza henchman who's at one time just Zarbon level and only trained for 4 months, and now he's able to body him? Get out of here. Once again, I feel like these guys are Toriyama is willing to disrespect these well-established characters that are loved by the fans simply to give these other characters a power boost so they can be a threat or a challenge. I mean, he already spat in the face of Goku and Vegeta and the rest of the cast by making Frieza come back and simply train for 4 months and surpassing everybody. But now you're making a henchman surpass, like, something like Piccolo. This is just BS. I didn't accept Frieza being able to have this ridiculous of a power. I'm definitely not going to accept one of his lackeys being able to do this. So no, he should not be bodying Piccolo, and Gohan should not need to step in. And then Gohan gets taken down by first form Frieza, which once again just shows how weak Gohan is. And yeah, that happens. Then then Goku and Vegeta finally arrive, and we finally get the fight. Goku starts off the fight against Frieza, and the fight itself, I didn't really care too much about it. It was just what we normally see, where they move so fast. You see a bunch of big explosions. Also, the use of CGI in this, I did not like. A lot of times, it looked like, it looked worse than the CGI cutscenes in Xenoverse 2. Now, Xenoverse 2's CGI cutscenes are great, but they're great for a video game. For a movie, they would not be really good. But still, they were far superior to Resurrection of F's CGI. I do not know why they heavily implemented it so much. I do appreciate the Broly movie for at least incorporating the CGI in a lot better manner. They use it mostly for the backgrounds or the attacks. And if they did use it for character models, it was short. But this one, they overdid it. It looked very off. You see when Goku and Frieza are flying against each other, they're like all blocking stuff. So the fight itself wasn't anything that special either. So that was very trash. I didn't like that. But then also the fact that Frieza was stronger than Goku. And the only reason Goku was able to beat him was because Frieza, once again, was being an idiot and didn't train enough to, make this power natural for him and not drain his energy. He didn't master the transformation. And there's a couple of things I don't like about this. One, I don't like how they introduced Super Saiyan Blue. They just introduced a new transformation, and it's already got surpassed. It's still surpassed by Frieza. Frieza surpassed it right off the bat, and this guy, he just unlocked this. So right off from the jump, Super Saiyan Blue was already surpassed and looked to be a lesser form. For me, when I saw this movie and I saw Super Saiyan Blue, my thought was this transformation is already dead on arrival. The moment it came out, it was already weaker than Frieza, and the only reason it won was because of a technicality. Also, I was like, come on, Frieza, you already dealt with this problem in the Frieza saga. You would have thought that he would have learned by then, like, hey, you know what? Last time when I used my 100% form, I was losing a lot of energy, and that really screwed me over. Maybe this time I should try to control the power, because I've only trained for simply 4 months. I could have just done, a little more training, got a full mastery of it, and got even more stronger. But no, apparently he was too stupid and went back. So that I also don't like. And then obviously the laser scene. I covered that in my durability video. I talked about how dumb it was. So I'm not going to go into that again. Then we have Vegeta coming in, and Vegeta comes to fight Frieza, and he starts beating him up. Once again, the fans were like cheering, like, "Oh my gosh, they're giving Frieza this! He's beating him up." It felt like how they were happy about the Z Fighters, but for me, once again, I was like, "Why are you guys so happy?" Like, at least for the Z Fighters fighting against Frieza's henchmen, at least they were just bodying them. The only reason Vegeta was, first of all, Vegeta fighting against Frieza was not even that long anyway. It was like a couple of minutes. Goku had like majority of the fight time, and then Vegeta gets a couple of minutes, and that's it. And on top of that, Vegeta was beating up a Frieza that was already beaten down. Like, there's nothing special about him beating Frieza at that point. Because at that point, Frieza not only was heavily, his energy was heavily depleting, to the point where Goku stated that he was no longer a challenge, but he was also severely damaged. So he was damaged and draining of power, and now Vegeta's beating him up. Big whoop. Who gives a crap? Why are you guys so? Why was everybody so excited? I'm just like, they they screwed him over again. They gave a beaten and broken down Frieza already for Vegeta to take him on. That's nothing to be proud of. That's something that, like, for me, it felt like they're just saying that Vegeta wouldn't be able to handle him his full power, so we're going to give him a handicap so he can win. And it just felt to me like it didn't mean anything. Like, okay, congratulations, you beaten down Frieza, whose energy is already depleting. And it's funny because in Dragon Ball Fighters, when you have him fight against Frieza fighting against Vegeta, you have this dialogue where Vegeta's talking all this mess, and then Frieza's like, "Why are you talking? I was already beaten, depleted of energy. I'm gonna beat your ass." Which, if we're being honest, if Frieza or Vegeta fought from the jump, he would have been the one on the ground getting his ass beat. So yeah, there's that. I did not like the fact that they gave him only a few minutes to fight him, and it was at a point where he was already severely beaten. So I felt that was lame, in my opinion. Then we have, Vegeta. Not only did he beat him, he's holding him down, holding an energy blast to his face, and he's about to obliterate him. But for some reason, Vegeta is just standing there with the energy blast hanging out of his hand. He does not just obliterate him right away, like how you would expect, like all the way back in the Frieza saga when we saw how ruthless he was. When Burter and Raccoon were on the ground, he obliterated them. He obliterated Guldo right away. These guys he took out instantly. But now he has Frieza on the ropes. He beat him down. He's won, and he has the killing blow right in his face and doesn't take it for whatever reason. He just stands there, and as this is happening, not only is Frieza yelling and saying "damn you, damn you, damn you," he's also says, "I'm gonna take this planet away with me." And Vegeta is just still standing there, and then he waits for him to raise his hand. He raises his hand up, brings it down on the planet, sends an invisible energy blast through into the planet and destroying it, and then Vegeta dies throughout the process. Let me go into a couple of these things. First, I want to talk about the fact that a lot of people said Frieza destroyed the planet by punching it. No, he sent an energy blast through it. He put his hand down like this. He didn't punch it like that. And on top of that, even if he did, at this point, these guys should be easily able to destroy stars with their punches. So destroying a planet with a punch is nothing too impressive, okay? But also, it's like, they tell us that Vegeta's biggest weakness is he overthinks things too much. What the hell was there to overthink in this scenario, Vegeta? Why were you stopping? The only reason he stopped was to write a very convenient reason for Vegeta to lose and have Frieza just blow up the planet and then have Goku come in and take the kill. There was no, first of all, on a writing standpoint, there's no need for, to have this scenario happen to have Goku have the win. And also, when you think about it logically, why would he be just standing there holding the blast when he can kill him? There was so much time for him to obliterate him and let him die. But he waited until this. He actually didn't even try anything at all. I mean, this guy not only stated that he was going to destroy the planet, but he raised his hand up. Like, what the hell were you waiting for, Vegeta? What do you expect he was going to do? Give you a high five? The guy was obviously going to destroy the planet. You would think with Vegeta's reflexes, and especially with him being in that distance, if he saw Frieza lifting his hand up, he would know that he was going to destroy the planet, especially since he stated it, and he would just obliterate him right there. There was no need for him to stand there. And like I said, the analysis of he overthinks things too much, stupid. This reasoning was dumb. There was no overthinking anything. He already won. What was there to overthink? He won and he was going to kill him. There was no reason for him to do that besides they wanted it where the planet was destroyed, Vegeta dies in the process, and then they really want time to have Goku jump in and save the day. So dumb. And he also, Toriyama lied. He told people that, oh, Vegeta's going to have, he's going to have the win. He's going to be the main thing. And then he gives Vegeta only a couple of minutes of a fight, and he's beating on a already beaten down character that Goku already was handling. And he also dies and loses, and then Goku has to handle him. Complete bullshit. That pissed me off. I was like, if there's any time to give Vegeta a win, it was definitely now against somebody like Frieza. And I'm not a Vegeta fanboy. I don't like when they keep on complaining, saying, you should give him this, Goku doesn't deserve this and that. But when there's times where there are times that he deserves it, and this was definitely a time he deserved the win, but they just for some reason didn't give it to him. So I didn't like that. I also didn't like how quick Vegeta died. I mean, I get it, the Saiyans cannot breathe in outer space, and that's what they stated. I know a lot of idiots try to use for like versus debates stating that, oh, this shows that these characters are not universal level, this and that, because he died by a planet exploding. It was not the planet exploding. Even we stated that Frieza can survive in the vacuum of space, whereas Saiyans can't. So there was a distinct. He did explain the distinct difference between the two and why he died. But even with that, without the atmosphere, he shouldn't have died instantly. He should have been able to survive for quite a bit. From what I've done in my research, I found out that humans could at least survive around 3 minutes max in outer space without a spacesuit. So in 3 minutes, a regular human can survive. And we have a Saiyan who should be a lot stronger and have a more deep chest cavity and have a higher lung capacity, especially seeing to how they've been able to swim. You would think that if he was stuck in outer space and if a regular human can survive for 3 minutes, Vegeta's Saiyan should be at least 2 to 3 times be able to survive that 2 to 3 times longer than a regular human. And by the time we did the rewinding time, he can only do it in 3 minutes. So Vegeta would have been alive. Logically, Vegeta should have been alive. He should have been able to take Vegeta back. And when he rewinded time, had just Vegeta handle him. Once again, just an excuse to have Goku take him out. So I don't like the fact he died that. And then obviously Goku jumping and obliterating him. And the whole point of the movie was they need to work together. They need to do this so they can fuse. And I was like, no, they shouldn't. They shouldn't need to work together and fuse to beat a character like Frieza. If Goku could beat him all the way back in the Frieza saga by himself as just Super Saiyan, he should not need to team up with, Vegeta with the new transformation of Super Saiyan Blue together just to beat this asshole or transform. That's what they did in the Broly movie. And they're like, oh my gosh, they work together. Here's the thing. I get if it's against characters that they need to, like Jiren and stuff, but they should not be doing this against characters like Frieza and Broly. They should be doing it against new characters that are powerful, like Granola and stuff, like especially now Granola and Gas. They should be doing it against those people, not these chumps. I just felt like it was dumb. This movie as a whole didn't make sense power scaling wise. Everything was just dumb. Everything was inconsistent. There's a lot of conveniences for why Frieza would be revived. Also, there was a lot of fan service to be like, oh look, you guys love him, this and that. And I felt like this was Toriyama doing a quick cash grab and using the fans' nostalgia and love for the series to make money off of it. He didn't do this because he actually loved this series. He didn't do this because he genuinely cared, because if he did, he would have done something new. He did the same thing in the Broly movie. He once again gave us the same crap, maybe like remodeled it and changed it a little bit, but instead of giving us something new and something better, he gave us the same old shit with just repolished. And I'm sick and tired of it. He needs to give us something new. This new movie that's coming out, there might be something new. They do introduce new characters, but once again, they're treading old ideas with having the Red Ribbon Army come back and androids. Come on, Toriyama, be a little more creative. I'll give this one a fair shot. I'm gonna watch it before I criticize it. But just the concept of bringing the Red Ribbon Army back and androids, it's lazy. It's like, why don't you just make a threat from from another universe or something more creative. I'm just getting sick and tired of this, lazy writing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this very long rant. So yeah, that's it for this video.